Warning, the Surgeon General has determined that the sounds you're about to hear can be devastating to your ears.
Yo, so it's your boy SKANDOUZ, the hip hop original, and we're here with a absolute hip hop legend for the head-to-head interview series. This is episode 506. I'd like to introduce the great man himself. Definitely a pleasure to hear this incredible body of work that he's recently dropped. So yeah, without further ado, presenting the legendary J Rawls. How you doing, sir?
Yo, man, I'm good. I'm feeling good. Shoot, man, just doing music, teaching students, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know how I go. We all hustling out here.
Nice, nice. Okay. So the first question we always ask, man, especially for our viewers that might not be overly familiar with your story, man, is how did you find your way into music? Where did it start for you?
Wow. Let's see. When did it start? I would say as a young kid here in Columbus, Ohio, listening to my dad's records and just falling in love with, he was playing the Temptations, Roy Ayers, Idris Muhammad, just jazz, soul, funk, a little of this, a little of that. And I just fell in love with music, man. And I never really thought about, doing music. I just was a fan of listening to different types of music as a little boy. And I love his vinyl, vinyl was just special to me, put on the record. Like I didn't really mess with his 8 tracks too much, but I was playing with the vinyl. And when I was 3 years old, they got me my own record player.
Oh, wow.
So I started buying my own vinyl. They would take Dad when he went to the record store, he would take me, and I was buying like Kiss, Shana Na. I was everywhere with it. And then 1979, I remember him buying Rapper's Delight, Sugar Hill Gang, and we was like, that just blew my mind. So I took that record and was playing it all the time. And then he around 81 or so, The Message and Planet Rock, and then that was it. That was it. I was hooked. It was this thing called hip hop, and everybody was like, all the adults were like, this isn't gonna last. This is just a fad, blah, blah, blah. As we can see, it's still here. So that's when I really fell in love with it, man.
That's incredible, man. So which element of hip hop was you drawn to first? Was it the breaking or immediately the DJing or is there any other?
No, it was the I think I started out beatboxing with my crew in the neighborhood on the south side of Columbus. So that was the very first thing I was doing. But then when we saw the movies Breaking and Beat Street, that's what I started.
Right.
I started breakdancing for a little bit, and then that didn't work because I wasn't nimble. That stuff hurt. So I was like, this ain't it. So I started rapping, of course, started rapping, and I rapped for many years, but I didn't like my voice with my little crew in the neighborhood. And I didn't really like my voice. And me and my best friend at the time, Buka, he was our DJ. And he was, we and him was going through my dad's records, and we was finding stuff like, yo, wait a minute. And we started to realize they were sampling the old records to make hip hop. And then that's when this started.
Right.
Because once I realized that's what it was, I was on the hunt. We was digging. I've been digging in the crate since 87.
Oh, wow.
Like that's when I started like buying records to find samples in 87. By 88, I was all in. And I'm an 8th grader, 9th grader. So my whole allowance, I was buying comic books and records.
Right.
Comic books and records with my little allowance or my little cutting grass money, mowing the lawn money, or shoveling snow money. And it was that moment I said, you know what? Just records. I stopped collecting comic books right there.
Wow, man. So who would you say were your early influences as a producer when you was coming in the game?
Larry Smith, even though I didn't know who he was at the time, but all the Run DMC, that early Houdini, all that early stuff was really blowing me away. Of course, Grandmaster Flash, those early influences really got me going. But then once you know, you get into Marley Marl and Pete Rock, Premier, all that, you know, that's me. I come from that stock.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Well, one question we usually ask is, what is the origin of your rap name or your producer name? But clearly, it's your actual name. But was it the first name you came up with?
My first rap name was Dynamite. And I don't know where that came from. I just thought it was something cool to say. So I
Right.
was Dynamite. Yeah, I was a rapper.
Man. Wow. So, how would you say you got your first break in the game as a producer?
Um, Man, Quali and Most Def, man. You know, just that opportunity to work on the Black Star album really solidified it. And I met Kweli in Cincinnati when I was a student at the University of Cincinnati because I was working with the Cincinnati crew. So of course, you know, me and Jay Sands and the 5Ds, Fat John, Pace, Sonic, Kyle David, all those dudes, Dose One, Home Skillet, like we was all kind of just working. And that's how I met Kweli when he was coming down to work with High Tech.
Mm.
And so we were all just in the area. That's really how it all happened. Just being
Wow.
around. Yeah.
So you managed to get your production on the classic Black Star album, Brown Skin Lady. I
I
mean,
did.
what was the impact of having such a high profile record at the time?
You know, it changed my life. It gave me the opportunity to be able to work with, you know, all kinds of groups and keep it moving. You know, Beastie Boys and all kinds of different. So I just got really blessed to be able to work. And so that for me was really um, kind of what got me into going and getting it in. And then from there, just working, just hustling, meeting people, work with J Live, work with Wordsworth, and just keep making connections and building with different people.
Mm, wow. So over in the UK, the first time we heard of you as a solo artist was on one of our famous magazines called the Hip Hop Connection, had a CD called was giving away a free CD, and it featured the great live caper. Um,
Wow.
and that
I
was
didn't
our,
know
our
that's the first, that's one of the first times, huh?
Yeah, yeah, and that was our introduction to you,
Wow.
and J Live as well, actually. So when we dug in deeper and heard the album, man, and hearing such an incredible ensemble of artists that you got together for that project, I mean, obviously your networking game must be amazing, but I mean, how is it, how was it to have all of those impactful artists on your debut project?
Um, I was blessed, man. I mean, what can I say? Very blessed. I was able to just really work with a lot of different people and make things happen, which you know, and it all really came from just who I know, man. It's really who you know. And I don't think that matters in what industry you're in. It's just who you know. And I just started meeting people. That's how it happened.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible, man. So throughout your discography leading up to this project with Talib Kweli, you've covered such a wide range of genres, including neo soul and jazz. And I mean, just for someone that wants to, get more acquainted with your music, what would you suggest they check out?
Oh man. Oh man, honestly, I'd have to have you tell them. I don't know, man. Because I like it all. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what, you know, I would just say go in and type J Rawls in Spotify or Apple Music and just check it out and see what you think. Because
Mhm.
it's like you said, jazz with the Liquid Crystal Project, the soul that I did, Eric Roberson, Aloe Black, etc. And then of course hip hop, man. So check it out. And I got house now. I got a house album called Bump the Floor out right now
Oh,
on
wow.
55 Music. Yeah.
That's incredible, man. So, I mean, during your fusion of the hip hop and the jazz, you've been cited as coining the term jazz hop. Is that correct, or is it? And
I guess that's what I've been given. Like that was the first one to really start saying it. But we were saying that in 04, 05 when we hit with the Liquid Crystal Project. You know, we were just always trying to combine those because I mean I was a big fan of like a Q-Tip, you know, that kind of thing, Tribe. So that for me was everything. that was the epitome of good music, putting those two together.
Mm. Wow, man. So having started with Talib, and here we are in 2024, we've had the big full circle moment. What was the key ingredients for sparking your I guess coming back together for this album?
It actually started because we started working with a jazz singer named Solene that's
Hmm.
coming very soon. She's on the album,
Hmm.
but I'm producing that whole album. And that album,
Yeah.
but me and Kweli was working so closely with her that he started just recording some songs. And before we knew it, we had like 20 songs. We were like, let's do it.
That's amazing, man. And on this project, like, I mean, Talib sounds so like rejuvenated and hungry, you know. So, I mean, how would you say your production technique has evolved over the last 25 years to where we
Mm,
are today? Because you sound really fresh on this project.
wow, thank you. You know, I think it's just due to I mean, for so long I used the ASR-10, which is outboard gear. And I recently, over the last like 4 years, started using Serato Studio. And now that's what I use. So it's like rejuvenated me into like having fun making beats and doing it differently and having more options, you know, with the computer. So that's been great.
So our introduction to this project, man, was the single Native Sons, which was really refreshing homage to the legendary Native Tongues crew. As I'd come to find out when starting this interview, that the video was shot in your home studio.
Some of it, yeah. It was just us down here, just building. You know, we recorded some of the album down here, so it was only right.
Right. So, what was the inspiration for that track in particular, man? And why do you think it took so long to someone to really do a tribute to the Native Tongues like that?
Yo, that was all Qua, man. He told me he had the vision and he asked me about that beat. Of course, you know me, I had the samples. So I just chopped everything up and did it my way and did it in 2024 status. And that was it. And then he lyrically, oh my goodness, like,
Yeah.
whoo, crazy.
Incredible on the project, man. So would you say Kweli is responsible for naming the album as well? And
Oh yeah. He's definitely a creative force. I mean, we worked on it together, but when it comes to like titling the album and naming it, any artist I work with, I usually leave that up to the writer of the lyrics
Mhm.
because you wrote the lyrics, you know what you want that to say. So the
Mm,
title of it should be what you envisioned when you wrote those rhymes.
right. And you had such an incredible ensemble of guest features on this project, man. I mean, were any of them dream collaborations that you was trying to get in the bag?
Most of them came from me,
Mm.
just asking Qua, like, this is who I'd like to see on there.
Right.
And you know he can make a call and make that happen. That's pretty much what happened.
Wow. So were there any particular features from the list that, really impressed you or?
A lot of them, man. I mean, Georgia,
Mm.
Jametta, of course, Blue,
Yeah.
SKANDOUZ, Buckshot, all of them, because it was all people I wanted to work with.
Mm. Man, so a big favorite of of a lot of the DJs that I speak to at the moment is the track called SWAT featuring Coast Contra, which is an absolute. We hope you release it as a single at some point. It's an absolute banger, man.
Oh, it's
Uh,
coming,
yeah.
video and all.
Oh
Oh yeah,
wow, that's
it's
amazing,
it's coming.
man. That's
Yeah, that's a banger for us. We fell in love with that early. So we actually had all our videos done. We've got 3 videos left to drop.
mm.
And we had them all done and we went back and recorded that after the album was done.
Right.
Recorded the video for that. Yeah, it's special.
Oh wow, man. A lot of the feedback we're getting is that your production on this project definitely feels like you had something to prove. Like because it feels like your name needs to be mentioned more with the greats. And hearing this is just yeah.
Wow, that's
What,
amazing.
I,
That wasn't the plan. Really nothing to prove. Just if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do the best that I can. I'm
mm,
always gonna put my best foot forward. So that's just me giving you my best. So it's always gonna be like that. Like everything I do, I'm trying to give you my best.
Right, right. And we noticed you wasn't just behind the boards on this project. We noticed you jumped on the mic as well.
I didn't. Somebody else
No?
said that. I didn't rhyme on this. I sung a little bit. I did some singing,
Oh,
but I
wow.
didn't rhyme. Nah, no rhymes.
Okay.
What
So
song
you
you think I rapped on?
we had We Outside.
Yeah, nah, somebody else said that. Nah, that's Tri-State.
Oh, but it's not
That's
credited.
why. I know why, because there's a glitch in the Matrix. There was a glitch that they didn't put his credit, but it's
Ah,
on, it should be on there. It should say it. Let me look on Apple Music. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Tri-State on that song.
Ah, right. But so you've got some uncredited singing vocals on some of the hooks.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Very uncredited. And they can stay that way.
Man, I mean, it was a real pleasure to see you over in the UK on this recent European tour. I
Thank you.
mean,
That was
what
amazing.
what was it like for you to, I mean, obviously gauge the reaction of the people that
I
have
haven't
heard
been
you
to the
before?
UK in maybe 10 to 12 years. Last time I came was to do a doctor's orders with Spin Doctor.
Hmm.
And so, it was great to be back and just kind of check in. It was amazing.
Wow. Yes, man. Any particular highlights? Because you went all across Europe, right?
Yeah, not no particular highlight, just getting to build with the people and getting
Yeah.
to talk to people such as yourself, like, yo, we like you, this is what we feeling. I love to hear that, man. That helps.
Man. So one of the another impressive thing about you, man, you're obviously you've got your doctorate, you're an educator, such as myself. I'm a university lecturer on a hip hop degree over here in the UK.
See, don't we gotta connect. Word.
Yeah, man. So just explain to me, why is it so important and what motivated you to work in education?
Because to me it's about leaving a legacy. It's important to reach out to the young people. I the last 10, 15 years I hear so many hip hop is dead, hip hop is this, hip hop is that. These young people ain't doing it right. They doing this, they doing that. And I'm like, yo, that's our fault. Like, we're
Mm.
the older generation. We should be talking to them and sharing with them like what we believe hip hop is, and how would they know? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to give them the values and share it with them. So that's why I'm such a push for the university. I'm at the Ohio State University, and I'm at such a push. Like, we're working on a hip hop studies minor to push forward, what hip hop really is at its core essence, and explaining those four main elements, right? And breaking all those down to the students so they have that foundation. And then they go and create, and that's okay. They add on, they do something different, but they know the main elements, they know the foundation.
100%, man. 100%. Right. I've got a couple more questions because I know you're a busy man. You're also an author. You've got the Youth Culture Power book that you released. Is there anything, will there be a sequel to this book? Is there anything what was your drive behind wanting to release a book?
Yeah, I train teachers on how to incorporate hip hop based education into their pedagogy. So
Mhm.
that's what that book was. I did that with my partner John Robinson from JR from 30. We already got albums, and we do that too.
Wow.
We both educate. So he and I, there's already a second book. It's called How Can I Move the Crowd?
Oh,
And
wow.
that is actually activities. So it's activities to show teachers how to do it, right?
Mm,
It's the stuff that they
right.
need. So we've got, those two books, but we've been doing professional developments with different school districts here in the States.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping to get overseas and do some stuff, and definitely, talk at some different universities about this hip hop based education thing overseas. That's the goal.
Yeah, and we'd love to have you, man, and definitely build on that further as well going forward.
Love
Um,
that.
one question we usually end our interviews with as well, man. That the album sounds incredible. You said there's some extra tracks that we've not heard yet. Is there a possibility of a sequel coming? Or
We'll see. We got a lot of extra tracks. I don't know for sure. We're still working so hard on this one, but you know, who knows? We definitely never say never. But you know, me and Quad just have fun doing it. So as long as we having fun, who knows? Definitely.
Yeah, and especially with Fat Beats behind you, man, has your strategy of releasing music changed over the years as in terms of like 20 come out?
A little bit, not too much. I mean, my whole thing is just to make sure that I try to get it out there as much as possible. You know, Jazzy Jeff said to die empty, you know, like don't hold this music in, let it out. And so that's what I'm trying to do.
Right, right. And a key question to think about as well, is what would you say is the legacy of J Rawls?
Man, that's why the last album that I would ever rap on, I put that out in 2014. I called it The Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about. It kind of breaks that down. It's for my children, my sons. I have 3 sons. It's for my students that I work with, just to share with them. My legacy is about, you know, being true to yourself, who you are, but always looking out for the person behind you, right? While you're going to the top, reach back and help that other person up as well. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm really trying to do that with my whole city, man. Columbus, Ohio. We're not known as an entertainment city, but you know, I'd like to help as many people as I can. So that's what I'm working toward. That's my legacy.
That's amazing, man. J Rawls, we want to thank you so much for taking time to kick it with us, man. We're going to be continuing to push and promote this incredible body of work that you guys have just dropped. You know, and yes, thank you again for the music. It was definitely a pleasure to have an opportunity to meet you whilst you was over in the UK, you know, and we definitely look forward to having you coming back and blessing us again real soon, man.
I appreciate you, man. You have a good one.
All right, man. All the best. Take care.
The Surgeon General has determined that the sounds you're about to hear can be devastating to your ear.
This one goes out to the legendary Native Tongues crew. Jungle Brothers, De La Soul Tribe Called